Right now, on to the point.
PG&E is asking for another rate increase, and now is the time for the public to weigh in.
Public comments make a huge difference.
A controversial bill banning forever chemicals in cookware is vetoed. A local chef weighs in on the decision. A plan to build a new American city is taking shape in Solano County, with Suisun City at the center of it all. The government shutdown going on 3 weeks, impacting travelers nationwide.
Even if there's not an issue at your airport, there could be a domino effect.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To The Point. I'm Becca Habiger. PG&E is asking for another rate increase. Maybe you got the email this week if you're a PG&E gas and or electric customer. My colleagues and I did, saying now is the time for the public to weigh in. So I checked in with PG&E and consumer advocates about how much this could affect your bills.
This email landed in PG&E customers' inboxes this week, inviting people to make comments and raise concerns with the California Public Utilities Commission, or CPUC. They're the regulators in charge of approving, amending, or denying the rate increase requests from investor-owned utilities, including PG&E.
We want our customers to know this is the smallest percentage increase we've asked for in a decade. We're really breaking the trend of double-digit increase requests.
PG&E spokesperson Lindsay Paulo says this so-called general rate case application PG&E submitted to the CPUC in May, now open for public comment, is a cost projection large utilities are required to file every 4 years. This one covers 2027 through 2030.
This is to forecast the costs that we expect to continue making safety and reliability and clean energy upgrades for our customers.
PG&E is forecasting its revenue requirements will increase 8% from 2026 to 27, followed by 3 yearly increases of 6.1%. The price difference in your monthly bill depends if you're a gas or electric customer or both. Paulo says that first year's increase will be offset by other temporary expenses coming to an end in 2026. She says customers are expected to see their bills remain flat in 2027 compared to what they're paying this year. As for 2028 through 2030,
I can't forecast out 28, 29, and 30 because we have too many cases that are pending that we don't know what the outcomes will be.
Pending requests for more temporary rate increases to pay for specific projects.
Customers have already had it up to here with rate increases.
Mark Toney is executive director of the Utility Reform Network. He encourages people to not only submit public comment to the CPUC, but also express concerns to their state senator and assembly member.
There are no limits to how much PG&E can ask for a rate increase. There's no limits to how many times a year they can ask.
The problem here, what's broken, is that the regulator isn't stepping in and scrutinizing the spending, saying no to increased spending.
Bernadette Del Chiaro is Senior Vice President for California with the Environmental Working Group. She, too, encourages people to make their voices heard to lawmakers and the regulators at the CPUC. In addition to flat-out approving PG&E's general rate case application, the CPUC could ultimately decide to give PG&E a smaller increase than it's asking.
The CPUC tells me it takes public comments into consideration as regulators make their decision. The final decision is expected late next year. Now, in addition to submitting written public comment online, there are also 3 opportunities to present your comments at 1 in-person and 2 virtual hearings. We put links to that information at abc10.com/links. Now, in state matters, Governor Newsom vetoed a bill that would have banned the sale of nonstick cookware over forever chemicals, also known as PFAS, which, according to the American Cancer Society, help resist oils, stains, water, and heat. Democratic State Senator Ben Allen, who authored the bill, says California has already banned PFAS in other areas like firefighting equipment. Those in the restaurant scene say, however, good intentions can come with unintended consequences. Sacramento chef Patrick Mulvaney says while most restaurants, including his, use steel pans and iron caskets rather than non-stick pans, he understands people's concerns.
So the challenge in a restaurant is that you're tough on your pans. You're going to be using scrub pads and everything. So if you had a coating, you'd be just scraping it off anyway.
Experts say forever chemicals can have negative health effects because they take so long to break down. In his veto message, Governor Gavin Newsom said the broad range of products that would be impacted by this bill would result in a sizable and rapid shift in cooking products available to Californians. Well, Governor Gavin Newsom announced today California and 14 other governors are forming a nonpartisan coalition on public health guidance. It's called the Governor's Public Health Alliance. Its purpose is to strengthen emergency preparedness, improve communication, and ensure states can respond quickly and consistently to emerging health threats. The alliance builds on California's existing regional coordination efforts, like the West Coast Health Alliance, and a response to what Governor Newsom calls the Trump administration's dangerous misguidance on vaccine safety and efficacy and policies that strip millions of Americans of critical health care access. In a statement, Governor Newsom said in part, quote, "The American people deserve a public health system that puts science before politics. As extremists try to weaponize the CDC and spread misinformation, we're stepping up to coordinate across states, protect communities, and ensure decisions are driven by data, facts, and the health of the American people." Well, the Silicon Valley-backed group California Forever unveiled its Suisun City expansion plan in a new application. The expansion plan calls for the annexation of more than 20,000 acres east of the current city limits. ABC 10's Austin Castro breaks down what comes next and the reaction to the plan.
20,000 acres of land east of Suisun City could soon be annexed into the city. It's part of California Forever's plan to build what it calls the next great American city. The application detailing a large manufacturing park, 400,000 new homes, and a new downtown area.
California Forever's project could fit what Suisun's expansion could be really good for us. And
Suisun City Manager Brett Prebula said they are approaching the plan with an open mind and want to gather data and hear from residents.
As we're doing the work, we're going through the process, we're getting the technical reports, and we're going to be able to say, does this work or not? And council gets to make that ultimate decision.
Still, some in the community remain skeptical about the plan.
I'm kind of torn about it because I realize the city has serious issues with its tax base.
The Solano County Economic Development Corporation has expressed their support, saying it could help with the city's financial issues. Meanwhile, other groups like the Greenbelt Alliance have voiced their opposition. They're calling for the process to be open from California Forever.
So I would call on them to, continue to be upfront with their intentions and what they hope to do with this project.
The group also hopes the city takes all the factors into consideration about the impact to the community.
And also call upon the city to be transparent through this process and understand that you got to look at the application for what it is.
Some of those concerns in the community include the impact to the environment, the additional water supply needed, and the loss of farmland. While the plan is still many years away, the city is hoping the community can come together to figure out what is best for their future.
I guess I'm asking through this, even the opponents, let's have a real dialogue about, not about position to do it or not, but what are our interests and how do we try to align those together?
The public will be able to provide feedback at a community listening session on October 27th. California Forever declined an interview with us, but did point us to their CEO's posts on X. Still ahead on To The Point, the government shutdown is now 2 weeks and counting with no end in sight. Tonight, a new ruling from a California judge could change how many workers are impacted. And the government shutdown is hitting airports nationwide with staffing shortages causing headaches for travelers. What you need to know before your next flight.
And the rain and the snow have come to an end, but it is going to be cold to start tomorrow morning. We're going to be in those 40s with some patchy fog. We'll talk about the rest of the forecast after the break.
But first, in other headlines tonight, a man is in custody facing multiple charges after he allegedly shot down a sheriff's office drone while holed up in an Arden Arcade home this morning. According to the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office, the incident started after a reported disturbance between two neighbors. The suspect eventually surrendered. No one was hurt. The remains of 2 more hostages were returned to Israel today after they were transferred by the Red Cross from Hamas. After the 2 coffins were brought into Israel, the military cautioned that the hostages' identities had yet to be verified. Faulty engineering led to the deadly implosion of the Titan submersible. The National Transportation Safety Board made the statement in its final report today on the June 2023 hull failure and implosion of the Titan. The NTSB report says the faulty engineering did not meet necessary strength and durability requirements.
You don't want to drive too fast out here. You got to take your time. Can't be in a hurry. If you're not in a hurry, you'll make it safe.
All right, that's good advice for anyone who was traveling overnight and this morning. What a wintry looking wonderland. This is what it appeared to look like in King Vale along I-80 this morning. Quite the winter wonderland, but also slippery driving conditions. So Brendan Minchev joins us now live in studio. Brendan, it's been a wet and snowy start to the week.
It certainly has. We should play that clip of that man saying, you know, if you're not in a hurry, you'll get there safe every single time it snows this winter. I think that's good advice. Take a look at radar over the last 48 hours and you'll see we've had quite the storm, and we've been in a good spot with the storm, or we were, I suppose I should say, because we got the rain as the storm was coming in, as it was sliding south, and then as it started to push away from Northern California. And that's the reason why, we'll look at it one more time, that's the reason why that rain has come in from different directions over the course, again, of the last 48 hours. However, this is what it looks like right now. Clearing skies across Northern California. We're getting some sunshine, something we haven't seen much of the last 48 hours. Some snowfall totals from across the Sierra: 21 inches at Bear Valley, 7.3 inches at the Central Sierra Snow Lab, and about 2 inches at Blue Canyon. That's just a few reports there. Here's a look at the rainfall totals. The average rainfall in Sacramento for the month of October is a little over 0.8 of an inch. We got 1.58 inches in Sacramento from this storm alone, almost doubling what we normally see in the month of October. Elsewhere across the valley, anywhere from about 1/2 inch of rain to 1.5 inches of rain. Today's been a lot drier, but it's still been chilly. We made it to 64 this afternoon in Sacramento, 66 in Stockton, 65 in Modesto, and right now we're falling towards 60 degrees. It is going to be a quick cool down. Here's a look at downtown, 62 degrees. And as we go through the next few hours, we're going to drop into those 50s pretty quickly. Low 50s through the overnight, and then starting Thursday morning off in those mid to upper 40s. Although Thursday afternoon will be a touch warmer. We're going to be in those low 70s. So very sunny, very mild, but really the focus is going to be on that morning commute. Make sure you have a jacket. It will be cold, and we'll have some patchy fog potential as well. Not necessarily dense fog, not necessarily widespread fog. Certainly meets the definition of patchy across Northern California. As we look at the next 10 days, a lot of middle 70s and plenty of sunshine to come. Becca.
Brendan, thanks so much. Well, still ahead, the government shutdown hits day 15 as lawmakers continue to clash over health care funding, where negotiations stand and what's at stake. Plus, the federal government is threatening to withhold millions from California over requirements for truck drivers, why transportation officials say the state isn't following the rules. Today, a vote to fund the federal government failed for a 9th time. The government shutdown is now on day 15 and approaching one of the longest in history. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of people are caught in the crosshairs, left without work or forced to work without pay. But a key decision from a judge today could change how many people are impacted. Today, a San Francisco judge temporarily blocked the Trump administration from firing workers during the government shutdown, saying the cuts are politically motivated. Right now, roughly 4,000 federal workers have already been laid off, with another 750,000 furloughed and not expecting a paycheck until the shutdown ends. And the main sticking point remains whether to restore Republican cuts to Medicaid and extend Obamacare-era subsidies. It's an issue Democrats insist on addressing in order to reopen the government.
We are ready, we are willing, and we are able to negotiate a bipartisan spending agreement that actually meets the needs of the American people.
Republicans, meanwhile, are adamant on passing a temporary spending bill or continuing resolution that addresses the essential parts of keeping a government open, saying they'd rather take up the health care issue later.
We've got to get the lights turned back on, and Chuck Schumer and the Democrats need to vote to do that so we can get back to regular legislative sessions.
Now today, C-SPAN announced it will host a debate between House Speaker Mike Johnson and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. The date and venue of that debate are unclear. Well, TSA agents and FAA officials must still show up to work during the shutdown, but their union rep says many are calling out sick because of the financial strain. The staffing shortage is leading to some flight delays. Reporter Jen Sullivan explains your passenger rights if you're stuck at the airport.
The ongoing government shutdown is causing staffing shortages at some airports across the country, and it's impacting travelers. Air traffic controllers and TSA agents are considered essential employees and are required to show up for work. But right now, they're not getting paid.
We missed 2 pay cycles, And that was traumatic.
Johnny Jones with the American Federation of Government Employees says workers are having to call out sick because they simply can't afford to come to work.
That's not what the gas station is going to take. That's not what the child care is going to take. And that's not what your mortgage company is going to take.
Under a current law, workers who are not getting paid will receive back pay. But President Donald Trump has said that may change. The FAA said at least 12 facilities didn't have enough air traffic controllers last Friday. Some of those impacted were in major metro areas like New York and Chicago.
Even if there's not an issue at your airport, if there is a flight coming into your airport or you have to wait for a flight, there could be a domino effect.
Expedia travel expert Melanie Fish says during the shutdown, passengers should try and book the earliest and direct flight to avoid delays. And it's important to know your rights as a passenger.
You have to be offered accommodations in certain cases. You have to be offered the option to get a refund in certain cases. You have to be offered options on another airline in certain cases.
If you do have to rebook your flight because of a delay or cancellation, Fish says it may be faster to do it online rather than stand in line to see an agent in person.
The federal government plans to withhold $40 million from California. This is over English language requirements for truck drivers. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says he's withholding the money because California is the only state that is failing to enforce the rules that took effect in June. Truckers are supposed to be disqualified if they can't demonstrate English proficiency. California defended its practices in a formal response to the Transportation Department last month, but federal officials weren't satisfied. In addition to this English language issue, Duffy has also threatened to pull another $160 million from California because of the way the state issues commercial driver's licenses. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is directing military leaders to verify that all agency personnel watched his recent speech and reviewed updated policy standards. The memo was sent about a week after Hegseth addressed top military brass in Quantico, Virginia. That is when he asserted his vision for how the military will look physically and act. Hegseth also told the gathered senior officers that they could resign if they did not agree with the updated standards. The memo gave a deadline of October 31st for the verification. The Supreme Court today appeared ready to limit how a key part of the Voting Rights Act, aimed at protecting equal opportunity for racial minority voters, is applied to the drawing of state election maps. Oral arguments stem from a case challenging the drawing of a second majority black district in Louisiana. The court's conservative majority suggested race may have improperly predominated as a factor in its creation. The court is expected to release a decision before the end of its term in June 2026. Coming up, we'll look at what we're working on for tomorrow, including the controversy over a castle causing concerns in the Placer County community. Here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow on To The Point. White Swan Castle, an opulent mansion in Granite Bay, is now at the center of controversy. The current owners bought the property just off Auburn-Folsom Road 4 years ago. According to Placer County, the property is zoned residential agricultural, but neighbors claim it's being improperly used for commercial purposes. ABC 10 has been investigating neighbors' complaints, which include loud, unpermitted events, unsafe parking and traffic, and thousands of dollars in damage by guests.
It's been really hard to not know where it's headed and if it's ever going to stop. And it's just a matter of time before someone gets hurt or there's a car accident or something bad happens.
Tomorrow night at 6:30 on To The Point, ABC 10 takes our investigation to the property owners and Placer County officials. Well, thank you so much for watching and inviting us into your home. If you have something you think we should be looking into, please reach out to the team. You can email us at tothepoint@abc10.com. And of course, To The Point doesn't end here. To watch stories featured on the show, you can download our free ABC 10 Plus streaming app to your TV. Have a great and safe night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.